One plate. When someone in the gym mentions one plate, they are talking specifically about the 20 kg or the 45 pound plate, and not any other one. People in the gym are using this term very frequently to describe the amount of weight used. For example, you will definitely hear something like, I did a 2-plate bench press way more often than I did a 225 or 100 kg bench press. And when someone describes the exercise like that, they are talking about the number of plates on one side of the barbell, not on both combined. That's why the mythical 2-plate bench press is 225 pounds or 100 kgs. Can I work in with you? If someone asks to work in with you, you don't need to get scared. It's simply a request if they can use the same equipment as you are using right now. It's a completely normal practice, especially in busy gyms. Just remember that if you are the one who asked to work in, you should always respect the person who was originally there. Which means that if you ask to work in with someone who is on the cable machine, for example, and you see that they are currently using 50 pounds for instance, then after you do your set, you should put the weight back to the amount that the original owner used, as it is considered good etiquette. Spotter. A spotter is a person who is there to help the person who is doing the exercise, either just by being there, watching, and only actually touching the bar or the dumbbells if the person doing the lift fails to get it back up. Or you can ask someone to spot you if you need help to get the dumbbells off the ground and in position when doing something like the dumbbell overhead press or bench press. If you have ever tried to do an exercise like that with super heavy dumbbells, you know that the most difficult part of the exercise isn't actually doing the reps. The hardest part is getting the dumbbells in position. And in a situation like that, having a spotter that will help you to get the dumbbells up is a game changer. ATG. When you hear ATG, what comes to mind? Addiction to gambling? Well, that's not really what it is. What if I say ATG squat? Do you now know? Yup, ATG is an abbreviation for ass to grass. So an ATG squat is a squat where you go as low as possible. And if the mobility allows, I would highly recommend you to do this, because you can get way more gains out of way less weight when you go ATG. And when you then progress in weight, it's much easier to know if you are actually getting stronger, just because you can clearly see that you went ATG on every rep. Because when you just go literally 1 mm below the parallel, it's much harder to judge if you actually did the rep correctly, or if you just cheated your way out. Especially if you are not filming your sets. So this is a great way of making sure that you are really getting better at doing squats and not just at cheating squats. Hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is the word that people who spend way too much time in a lab use to describe getting bigger. People always ask, how do I achieve hypertrophy? And the answer is really simple, because this is not some kind of magical state. You achieve hypertrophy simply just by consistently progressing in weight and approaching failure. And combine that with eating enough protein and sleeping well, and you will achieve the so-called hypertrophy. Failure. When talking about failure, I'm not referring to your love life. Instead, it means that you do reps until your body is not physically capable of doing any more reps, thus reaching failure. Reaching failure is a very important factor in building muscle, especially when it comes to natural bodybuilding. Most of the time you should be going to failure, or at least be very close to it. Because the truth is, most of the people don't know what a true muscle failure is. They just think that as soon as it starts to get uncomfortable, then that has to indicate muscle failure, but that's just not the case. And this is one of the biggest areas where people are just leaving the gains on the table. Once you actually learn what it truly means to train till failure, you will uncover a whole new world of gains. Plateau. Plateau is a fancy way of saying that you are unable to progress. You can plateau on a lift, or you can even plateau on your diet. It simply refers to being stuck. And the solution to breaking a plateau when it comes to lifting is usually to change the exercise variation or the rep range, or even both at once. And when it comes to diet, it's probably time to increase or decrease your calories even more, based on if you are cutting or bulking. And speaking of cutting and bulking, I would highly recommend you to take a look at my nutrition plans. They will walk you through the whole dieting process step by step, and you will be able to fully customize your diet. If that sounds good, click the first link in the description. Deload. Deload is a deliberate choice of taking the gym a lot easier for a week or so, in order to recover. What you usually do on a deload is that you decrease the weight by roughly 50% from what you normally do, and do your workouts like that for a week or so. Plus, you could also cut the number of workouts in half if you wanted to. This should help your body recover way more than actually just sitting around and doing nothing. Because that is just the power of active recovery. But if you feel like you need a break, just taking a week off the gym completely is also fine. You don't have to worry, you will not lose any muscle in that time period, because that's just not a long enough time. So take that vacation for a week and relax, you will be fine. And sometimes a well-timed break from the gym can even result in you coming back stronger than before. But worrying about deloads or just taking a whole week off the gym straight up is something that you should only consider if you are a more experienced lifter, and maybe even then it's not really that necessary. It's just something that can be useful when you have been going balls to the wall for an extended period of time and you just feel really beat up. Then taking a deload or a break is a good idea. Progressive overload. Progressive overload is one of the most important things in your bodybuilding journey. It means that you are trying to make every future workout a little more difficult than the last one. This is mainly done by increasing the weight or the reps, but it can also be achieved by shortening the rest times in between the sets or slowing down the tempo of the exercise, and many other ways. The thing to remember is, try to do at least one more rep than you did in your last workout. If you keep this up, you will be a beast in no time. Time under tension. Time under tension refers to the amount of time your muscles are working while you are lifting, lowering, or even just holding the weight in a position in which the muscles are engaged. Generally, the longer the muscle stays under tension, the more it's worked, which can help to build more muscle. That's why I always emphasize that you want to control the weight you are lifting on both the way up and the way down. Mind-muscle connection. Mind-muscle connection is exactly how it sounds. It refers to trying your best to mentally focus on the muscle that you are working. Just being super mindful of what you are doing, feeling every contraction. Generally, as you get more advanced in your bodybuilding journey, the mind-muscle connection will get better and better. I can personally tell you that when you get super advanced, it truly feels like you become the one with the muscle. Muscle memory. Muscle memory is when your body can rebuild muscle faster after a break because it remembers how to do it from past training. Even if you stop working out for a longer period of time, you will never truly lose all of your progress, because your muscles will still retain some of the changes, making it easier to regain muscle when you start working out again. So if you think that it's not worth going to the gym when you know that you will have to stop sometime in the future due to some other responsibilities, you should just completely shift your mindset. Get into the gym while you still can, because your body will remember it. And regaining muscle after a break can happen really quickly, because muscle memory is a very powerful thing. AMRAP. The AMRAP abbreviation stands for as many reps as possible. So doing an AMRAP set means that you do as many reps as humanly possible, completely disregarding any rep ranges and just going full steam ahead until you reach failure. DOMS. DOMS stands for delayed onset muscle soreness, which is the stiffness or even the slight pain you experience after a workout or some kind of other intense exercise. Soreness after a workout is neither completely good or a bad thing, it's just a sign that your muscles are recovering from your workouts. You know, it just means that your muscles are adapting to the stress you are putting them through, and that they are getting stronger, so it could be interpreted as a good thing. But if the soreness is super intense or just lasts way too long, it could be a signal that you are overtraining or just pushing too hard without giving yourself enough time to rest, which could then lead to an injury. Some people might think that you have to be sore after every workout as a sign that you worked hard enough, but that is not really true. Once you get more experienced, being really sore usually occurs only when the stimulus rapidly changes. So when you start doing a new exercise that you haven't done for a long time, or if you suddenly make a big jump in weight, simply it's a shock reaction of your body to something very new or unexpectedly intense. And here you have it. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. I chose this video right here for you personally. Go check it out.